All right, hey, this is McAllister showing this at the end, having completed the whole thing. This is a video about me figuring it out. It's not the video that you should watch to do this. It's just if you're somebody who's wondering what it's like for an experienced DM, does everyone jump into a new system and they understand it immediately and maybe you just feel dumb because you're getting in there, it's hard? This is a video to hopefully commiserate with. I had a difficult time. This took me about an hour, so whatever the video length is now after this is what it is. But this is me attempting to make my own character from scratch, having generally read the rules. Some things I'm filling in, I don't fully know what they mean, but this is part of learning a new system. It's going to be that part where you just start jumping in the deep end. So this is my way of doing it. It's making characters so that I see things and it makes me ask questions and it helps me figure out what it's like for the player experience because I never play the games. I always run them. So hopefully this helps or is something that you can relate to. And thank you all for watching. Hey there, McAllister with Toasty DIY, and today I want to go over making my first character in MCDM's newest tabletop RPG. They've released the playtest packet, and it is called Draw Steel, and I just want to go over making the character sheet, and while I'm doing it, I'm going to kind of cut to the parts and talk out loud. We're going to measure how long it takes me, a rather experienced dungeon master of 8 years, but only with 5e, and I've played a little bit of 2e Pathfinder, and this is really going to be my first jump where I'm going in blind. I've not watched any videos about Draw Steel. I read the rules fully raw, had never heard of any of these concepts before, besides listening to Matthew Colville describe his own game via his YouTube videos. I really had no idea what I was getting into. I've read through almost the entire packet now, but I kind of stopped because I decided I would do this the way that's kind of, I'm not going to force myself to read more than it's entertaining, and if I don't know if I'm going to play it soon, I didn't want to get too caught up in the weeds. So I have now read through most of it, and I want to go through and attempt to make a character because I feel like that process is a big part for me. I've got players that are not like avid war gamers or anything like that. They're not the type that when the strategic element comes in, whether I'm sure they'll like it or not. And so to ask them to sit down and read this rule book and figure it out while it's in a playtest state where it's maybe not laid out in the way that they think will be most ideal for intuition and reading through it. They said they're going to get to it, at some point in the future. So I want to go through. I'm not going to put the packet on screen because I don't know if that's allowed or not. I may do small sections in order to describe things that I'm reading out loud anyways, because I think they're important to the process of making a character. But with all that being said, disclaimers out of the way, let's go ahead and build a character. And I'm going to read through here the making of a hero step by step. So first, I want to think of what kind of character. Do I want to fight with weapons, magic, psionics? So for me, I see psionics here. I have not read in far enough to really learn about the psionics in this game. Never done that before, so that's very cool to me. Let's start with, I'm going to do a psionic warrior. I want to really make them, focused around kind of using like a pike would be cool, or some sort of spear, like a psionic spear wielder. There's that move Psychic Lance in D&D, and I think the idea of like, I can stab you. I carry a very basic martial weapon, but I'm really going to be hitting you in the brain. Sounds cool. I don't see anything to write down here for that, so that's just under the thinking. So let's move to ancestry. We're going to choose the hero's humanoid ancestry from among the range available in the game: devil, dragon, knight, dwarf, Hakan, high elf, human, mnemonic, orc, polder, revenant, time raider, woad elf. Okay, well, I know that some of these, having read through, don't have their lore fleshed out yet, so they're just kind of in here from a stat description. But one that did catch my eye when I looked at this was that the devil had different special abilities. You kind of got to play a little, customize your devil. What kind of devil are you? And I thought that was cool. So let's be a devil. So we'll scroll down till we see ancestries. Devil, go to hell. Here we go. So with the devil, we can go through to the devil benefits section and read, as a devil character, you have the following benefits. Fiendish features. You create a devil character and you have 3 fiend points to select from the number of following features. We have all sorts of things from barbtail to wings. I'm really going to go through, look here real quick. I get 3 points total. So with 3 points, what I want to do, I know there's one called glowing eyes, and it allows you to do like a curse if you get attacked. Sort of a hellish rebuke type feature. And I like that. And I think I want the prehensile tail where you can't be flanked. Those both sound very important to me, so we'll come here to ancestry at the top. One thing notable about his character sheet, it's portrait, or sorry, it's landscape. It's not portrait. That's the surprising thing about it. And that is new to me, and I think it's very cool to be that way because when you sit at a table taking up this much space versus taking up, I think it's 10 by 13. I don't know the exact size dimensions, but clearly it is shorter this way. And when you're sitting at a table with a bunch of other people with things, I think that the landscape actually works better. I also think it'll present better on web browsers and different things. I think if this was a move for the virtual tabletop to have it sideways because that's just the more native landscape of monitors, I think that was a brilliant idea because seeing them, have it to be super long or really weirdly stacked in order to fit onto your computer while you play Roll20 and whatnot is an inconvenience. So with that in mind, let's look at Ancestry. We're down here. I'm learning for the first time, so I'll write Ancestry here on the top. All right, she a devil. Well, I've written down devil. Now, where do I put down my Ancestry? See, I see a triggered action right here, but I have a feeling that's not where that's going to go. So we will find out later if that's where my triggered action goes. It always confuses me where things go for the first time. So we will go ahead and go under Ancestry, write devil on the second page. With devil written down, I will see my finished features and I will write down prehensile tail. I imagine this is where I write it. Seems to make the most sense that I'd put it here. Alrighty. So I wrote down my little things. I put them all right here. My assumption is that's where it's going to go. I don't know for sure because I do have a triggered action slot on this one. But I don't want to put it there yet because I feel like that's too committal. I do have a pencil, so I could always erase it. But I feel like I'll have more than one triggered action. So I feel like that should be reserved for the one that I will probably use the most. And I will decide that later. Also, it doesn't have the triggered actions like keywords and whatnot next to it. So I don't know if it's like, when you're on here, it tells you, type, target, keywords, and it doesn't give me like a little stat block like it does for some of the other things I've seen. So I'm too afraid to commit to that. So hopefully we're right. If not, that's fine. So we've now chosen an ancestry. Let's make sure we read through this ancestry section to make sure we did everything we're supposed to. Choose your hero's ancestry: Devil, Dragon, Knight, Dwarfacon, Mnemonic. Future supplements will introduce other ancestries. Please note, game's full range are currently available, some of which will have lore entries. Okay, cool. 3. Create your hero's culture. Although Ancestry gives your hero a number of physiological benefits, your culture describes a community that raised you and gives you language and skills. See culture for more information. Culture, what makes a hero? It's the desire to stand up for the innocent. All right, cool. Creating a culture. For our purposes, a hero's culture represents people, not a place. Yes, you may have grown up in the city of capital, but the culture is more specific than that. The culture you choose grants you the following benefits. You know the language of your culture in addition of knowing Kalian. All right, languages. Okay, I should just write Kalian. So I have that already. From the environment, organization, and upbringing aspects of your culture, you gain access to skills. So I pick, okay, so my culture is a mix of these 3. Okay, so I don't just pick one. So this is more intricate than backgrounds. Initially, when I read this, I understood it as I'm going to pick one of these. And I didn't think that was very cool. I didn't look at the character sheet to see. I didn't fully understand. So now it's like I can pick more than that to get kind of a more interesting thing. So I think that's pretty cool. So where did I grow up environmentally? I'm playing this devil with some different stuff going on. I feel like they're definitely around people. I feel like devil doesn't stay in one place, kind of gets burned and moves on. So nomadic is leaning towards my way. Yeah, nomadic. I feel like this is nomad devils is kind of cool. Skill options. 1 skill from the exploration or interpersonal skill groups. I'm going to take endurance. Feels like a helpful skill. And just make sure that you are following my process back at home so that you kind of feel what it's like if you want to see. I'm marking over here. I believe this is what it means by taking the skill. I imagine it kind of looks like proficiency does, coloring the box. So that's what we're trying. We'll see if that's correct or not, but that is the first thought that I have, and it feels right that you would pick one. So that was 1 skill from exploration or, so that's it for nomadic. We'll be moving on. I am always curious to know, though, could I have gotten much more, min-maxy by saying 1 skill from the or, 1 skill from the, so they're all ors. So I don't feel like I was cheated, like I have to pick secluded or I miss out on some nice skill. When I go back and play games like, Baldur's Gate, because the game's not going to take everything into consideration for my role play, so I do want the min-max. That's where I kind of started doing it, but coming into games like this, I care less. It's important to me to know that I'm not going to feel like I'm been stolen from by picking one role-playing route over another. We're going with anarchic culture. I just feel like nomadic, anarchy. I'm kind of think that this is leaning now more towards roving bandits, and I like that idea. So 1 skill from the exploration or intrigue skill groups. I'm going to take something that I would never normally take, but I think it's a very interesting skill. I'm just going to take sabotage. I feel like, going out on the road and destroying like something where a wagon would come through, and then I raided that. Sounds good. The idea of the characters coming more into view. This is very helpful. I like this setup because when I just picked I'm an acolyte, I would just pick a temple or whatnot, and it was helpful, definitely. But I like that this picture is becoming more into view. If you played the game Microscope, I feel like I'm taking levels of depth into this character, and I'm learning more about them, which is fun. I love when the character creation process feels like this way, where I'm getting to know them through this. Upbringing. Academic, nope. Creative, illegal. That's going to be the one. That's going to make this easy. Awesome. And I can pick, here's what this upbringing, 1 skill from the intrigue. Intrigue. Okay, so that's that same one. We're going to do sneak. I realize this also leans really heavily to being simply homebrewed. You can make all sorts of different options here with offering just different skills for very specific backgrounds. If you have a game you're going to run and it's in a haunted house and you want that kind of haunted one vibe, you could just say, hey, select one of these skills. Or if you just want to be a little bit lazier, you could just rename labor, as your upbringing to sailor. And I bet you could change out a couple of those things and be just as happy with what you've ended up with. It just saves you, I feel like, a lot of time compared to the backgrounds, because the thing that they don't have that I don't really mind, because that always made making backgrounds more complicated, is they don't have the introduction of a background feat, unless I'm reading this wrong. And the background feat of like, okay, well, I want to make them a bard and I want to give them this special thing, but now I have to think of what does that actually mean for them to be a bard. So now they can, they'll be able to roll a d10 every time they stay in a tavern to possibly earn that much gold. Okay, cool. That's a fun little trait. It's nice to have those, but I never felt like they got used much in D&D. Like, I can't tell you how many acolytes I had that never stayed at an inn for free. That might just be my player group, but I don't feel like the background feats ever really came up. So I don't know if the new 1D&D, whatever they're calling it, as Matt calls it, I think 5.5. I don't know if they're going to be doing that as well, because I know they've changed up backgrounds, but I like this. It was almost equally learning about my character as it was creating them, which was nice. So let's see what we do next. Oh, I learn a language as well, don't I? Your culture. This could be any language in languages, so I can pick any other language. So when I find languages, I will pick. All right, career. Uh-oh. I might have just talked shit about this, and now I'm going to be doing it. But this is going to be kind of your background with a feat that's special to what you do, or as they call it, a title. I don't know how this will differ from feats, but we'll kind of see as we get into it. Maybe I'll understand by the end of creating this character, as I've kind of been learning. I also need to find out where the languages are all written. I can control F for language and find it, but I need a general language rundown so I can figure out what language my character speaks. So I'm personally okay with common for now, but I'd love to have some sort of devil speak or infernal, whatever they want to call it. So I'll figure that out here in a bit. Actually, control F will help me, my best friend now. All right, here we go. Devils. You're a devil. So I now know Anjal. I just had to control F to look through for languages, but I do like this idea. Longjal has a note, is it's the language of contract. So very much it's the language of legalese, and I like that. So devils speak legalese and common. They can speak the idiot's tongue and their own. All right, so we're going to go look for, I'm getting back up to the section that has all my character creation stuff. We're choosing a career. Hero isn't a job, it's a calling, but before you answered that, you had a job or vocation that paid the bills. Thank God for that, because your experience gained is now helping you in saving lives and slaying monsters. So we have different ones here. Classic, artisan. That one feels very known. We've got criminal, gladiator, laborer, mage's apprentice, performer, sage, soldier. We'll probably go the soldier route, unless you want to go mage's apprentice, like maybe that. Well, what paid the bills? Is there criminal? Because that would probably be more. Oh, criminal. Here we are. Criminal. You once worked as a bandit, insurgent, or smuggler. Yep, that is right there. You once worked as a bandit, insurgent. What sorts of crimes did you commit and why? To help you perform your list. What's one crime that you botched? Who was your nemesis? So these are like little knives to give the players to help create some backstory, some flaws in their character. I like that. You gain the following career benefits: skills, the criminal underworld skill, plus 2 skills from the intrigue skill group. 2 skills from the intrigue skill group. I don't think I learned to break locks. Pick locks. I think I learned to break them. I gain one language. Honestly, I'm going to just make a note that I have another language here, and I will figure that out here in a second, since I don't, just going through the PDF is a little bit harder for me to focus, so I won't do that. Project points, 50. Now, I got to tell you, I don't know where I read wrong or where I didn't pay attention, but project point is a fully new word to me. And so we're going to scroll up and see if we can find project points. Some careers provide project points that you can use towards research and crafting projects. See research and crafting, but they can't be used more than once. At the director's discretion, your career might also let you start the game with material needed for one or more projects so that you can immediately put your project points towards them. Project points aren't going to do me much good right now because I don't have anything, but I have 50 project points. There is a spot for it right here. So career title, my career title is the Lucky Dog. When you fail a test using any skill from the Intrigue skill group, you can roll a d6. You lose stamina equal to the roll and improve your result by 1 tier. All right. I wonder if this is better to type in to this sheet because my handwriting's horrible, but we have that now marked down here. We're coming in to filling out more. I'm not going to grab a language right now. I'm going to be good. Let's just see. An inciting incident. Let's see. Inciting incidents. Each career has a list of inciting incidents, each of which suggests a potential reason you gave up the career and became a hero. You can choose to roll for the incident. You can also use the table as inspiration and work with the director. All right, cool. So these are just basic things. So do they have a spot for inciting incidents on here? No. They do for culture in the back. And I wonder if that's for personal reasons or not. Just kind of to write down, just so you all see where. I might be able to take this section here. This is about culture. I might be able to say, grew up in nomadic tribe. Family didn't like me. Grew up doing this, and I didn't really love it, and then so on and so forth. At the end of this, I think what I'll do is I'll take a look at a finished one, and I will see how it feels looking at mine versus that, and kind of discuss whether I think it was easy or difficult. But we have that done, so we go back up. Exciting. Next step, what is it? I am hoping stats. I love stats. Stats are good. Oh, we're going. We're at... I thought I just saw something that said changing character hair options, and I was like, interesting. Changing hair. Class. Okay, not stats, unless they include them there, but choose your own hero's class. This choice is the biggest impact on hero interacts with the rules. See classes for more inspiration. All right, classes, baby. Conduit. That's like the priestly badass. I really like the whole prayer mechanic in that. That was cool looking. Elementalist sounds like kind of elemental mage. I don't know for sure, but I'm reading things here that make me believe that I'm right about that. Punch the earth. Yeah, stare into the abyss. That's kind of badass sounding. You make a void. That's pretty cool. I like that. Level 1 ability too. I can't imagine what high level abilities will look like if opening a hole to the void is like just level 1 things. Teehee. All right, a fury. Fury seems like that. Animal form crow. I thought I read animal form cow and got nervous. What is it with the cow? Caster kits. Where are the psionic kits? The lack of psionic. This book means sections not featuring psionic heroes. Daggone it. I got all this ready for psionics and I can't even be one. Alrighty. Well, I guess we will look at the other classes and take them more seriously now that I'm not going to be that. So I saw the dancer kit and I'm thinking about Final Fantasy XIV. I'm like, the dancer's pretty fun. Elementalist does have that void ability that sounded neat to me. There's like a little sheet that tells you kind of what every class is, but we'll read the basics of them. Air for movement, earth for permanence, fire for destruction, water for change, green for growth, rot for death, void for the unknown. Years of study and practice and poring over tomes has brought you revelations and allow you to manipulate these building blocks of reality. You now use your mastery with the 7 elements to destroy, create, and warp the world with magic. Easy peasy. It feels like Conjuration Wizard kind of vibes, and I like that. I don't mind it too much. I would like to make this character now, if I'm going to be not a psychic kind of person, I think the vibe I'll go for is more like if you know who Nurgle is from Warhammer, like a rot void-based wizard. Sounds kind of cool. So I want to pump out numbers. That's kind of my hope. And maybe do some cool effects. So let's see if we can maybe focus in on that and just do kind of a rot void specialty, or if we're going to be forced to be a master of all elements, which is, it's fine if that's the case, but we'll just kind of peek at it. So elemental specialization, you know how to manipulate the 7 primordial elements. Heroic abilities that include your specialization's keyword have their initial cost reduced by 1. Choose one of the following elements to be your specialty. Awesome. So we will pick our class to be Elementalist. I wanted to go into something magical, so I'm not actually going to do Shadow and whatnot. I've read a little bit about those. Like, if I was going to do Shadow, I think I'd want to be a Polder just for the vibes check out. And I don't want to do Conduit because I'm pretty confident that Conduit is cool, but I already read through it a little bit, and I'd rather go through one that I don't know anything about so that this is maybe easier to get into. Starting characteristics, you start off with a reason of 2, intuition of 2, and you can choose one of the following arrays for your other characteristics. So where actually is that? Okay, here we go. You start with a reason of 2 and an intuition of 2, and you can choose any of these other stat spreads. Oh, I like these 2, -1, -1, -1. So we have might, correct? Is that it's might, agility, persistence? I forget what the last one is. See, I don't know how statistically this is going to pan out for me. So the safest spread would be the 1, 0, 0, 0. But we're going to do the 1, 1, -1. We're going to take 1 agility, 1 persistence, -1 might. That sounds fair. We are more a nimble person than we are a murderer. Starting stamina at first level is 15. We're winded at half a max, round down, always in this game. Just so you know, that was in the little rules. Stamina gained at second and higher levels, so you gain 6 stamina per. You have 10 recoveries. That's pretty awesome. Skills for magic. Okay, so I'm realizing I might have forgotten things from up when I picked my thing, like size and speed might be up here. Unsure. So let's go back and do that. This is just all part of doing it for the first time. You're going to look at things and be like, wait, that's not there. And I'm used to it being here. So let's go back and see devil benefits. Silver tongue. I did forget to write that down, actually. You can twist how your words are perceived and better read people. You gain an edge when attempting to discover an NPC's motivation pitfalls. Silver tongue. Alrighty, we've done that now. So I don't see here anything about size or so forth or so on. So let me go back up and see if it's on the initial part. No. See. So I'm going to guess somewhere it just says all sizes are medium unless said otherwise is the wisdom I'm going to work off of. And these are just things that I say for now because if I'm going to be running the game, this is practice to see kind of what the players are seeing. But if I'm going to run the game, I have the right to kind of, say, oh, it is what it is. I don't want to look it up. But I like to make sure it's kind of fair to do that. So this is just what I'd run with if they ask me, well, what would it be? I'd be just for now, put medium. And when we find out why it's busted, stupid or wrong, we'll fix it. And that's always worked for me. So I just usually make those snap decisions to make it easier for myself so I don't spend my time being confused and can spend it enjoying myself. Let's go through. Essence is our special little substance, it seems. Resource. Choose one of these to be your specialty. So where would I put down? I want to be a little rot goblin. Signature ability, nope. Resource, nope. Size, weight, speed, sustainability, range attack, free attack. Player level, unknown class. Class is elementalist. I'm guessing it's going to be a kind of fill in your own blank because everyone will have a different one. Career. Let's look real quick at the spells and see if we can do this. This is keyword reach, blah, blah. Spin no essence. That's not written there. Void sense. I find it odd that it's earth, fire, green, void as like the specialty. I feel like green would be growth or life as the school. Or just fuck it, pick something green that just feels innate to the world, like algae. Like it'd be funny to have earth, fire, algae, void. I just feel like green is odd to me, but I'm curious if there'll be some sort of explanation of green as the current hold word for, plant. So manipulate earth requires 2 essence. Melt is 2 essence. Fire, speech of the wild, void sense, shared void sense. Ooh, that's cool. So you can pass it on to your friendos, I'm guessing. Specialization trigger action. So do I have a rot ability in here somewhere to base off of? Because if there's not a rot ability in the book, I don't want to have a repeated psionics. Sorry, this stool just felt really uncomfortable for a second. All right, so we're going to go void. There's not a lot of rot stuff yet. Oh my God, I almost fell out of this chair again. Holy cow. So we're going to go rot. So we're going to say, we're going to go void. Heroic abilities that include your specialization keyword have their initial cost reduced to a minimum of 1. Reduced cost doesn't apply to abilities you gain because of your specialization, such as manipulate earth or void sight. Okay, let me read that again because I'm not sure I fully understand what I just read. Heroic abilities that include your specialization keyword have their initial essence cost reduced to 1. Reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. This reduced cost doesn't apply to abilities you gain because of your specialization, such as manipulate earth or void sight. Okay, so by picking void, I'm going to get void sight. At some point it'll tell me. And then void sight will have its cost just be its cost because it's inherent. That seems odd though. Not to sound crazy, but I am I would wonder why it's not just a cost of 2 and it applies to everything, but never lower than 1. Then I wouldn't have to worry about, oh, hey, is that an inherent ability? But I guess at some point, I mean, like, I just know every spell that's a cantrip in D&D at this point. You know, you generally start to learn their range where you just know, oh, no, that one doesn't apply to 1. It's just when I have all these balls to juggle, that seems odd to me. But it is what it is, so we roll with it. We may find out why later. Choose one of the following elements to be your specialty: earth, fire, green, or void. Oh, it doesn't say rot. If I would read, I would have seen that. All right, well, that's just what it's going to be. So, void specialist. Essence. You gain the substance of creation in the form of a heroic resource called essence. In times of great stress, you can focus on gathering this outside of combat and other dangerous situations are tracked. You have essence equal to your victories. When combat begins, you may keep any essence that you had outside of combat at the start of each turn. Okay, so do you have a max? You have a max amount of essence one can be holding on to? Because it seems like, why would I not just save up 20 and then start a fight? Where did I see that rule that probably told me why? When come against any essence you had outside of combat. At the start of combat, you gain 2 essence. When the combat ends, you have when combat ends, you once more have essence equal to your victories. Okay, so you can only have as many essence as you have victories. That's your pool. See? So does that mean that, like, if I had the ability to cast, rain, whatever reason, I just want to cast rain, make rain everywhere, rainily, that I can't just make it rain unless I've killed 5 goblins and not gone to sleep since then? It might fit into how the fantasy works if you're just going between combats and pushing, but I am interested in how that works. Oh, you know what? Your base level essence might, or this one says during great stress, so maybe it depends on who you are. Maybe you need to be really stressed out. So in order to gain essence, I play a chronically ADHD, short-tempered college student, and I have 100 essence at any given time. And every assignment turned in as a victory, and trust me, I'm not sleeping between what a school campaign would be as an elementalist. You can maintain a persistent ability outside of combat as long as you have victories equal to some more abilities with persistent keyword. Whenever you use persistent ability, decide whether you want to maintain the ability. So when you have like 5 victories and you're starting the fight with 5 victories plus 2, you can just give up one of them to make it 6 essence gained, but you continue to have oak armor, whatever. Whenever you take damage while you have an active persistent ability, you must make the following power roll. Power roll plus reason. 11 or lower, you lose all active. If you lose only 1 persistent ability, all your active remain active. Okay, cool. So you're likely to lose it if you have more than 1. Practical magic. You have the following ability. Your mastery of the elemental power lets you customize your magic. Okay, so this is like your prestige. This is your making it rain if you're outside. No combat needed, it seems. Alrighty. Where do I put this? Kit signature ability. Practical magic. No, that's not that. Where would this go? Practical magic. Heroic ability, triggered, kit, signature, melee. It's a maneuver. Does that help me? Not seeing anything here to help me with that. Am confused. Oh, this is one of the ones where it makes me sad because I feel like I'm maybe just really dumb and it's really obvious. So I need to find out where on this sheet it goes. There's definitely spots I could write it in, but I don't know where. It's not a triggered action, so let's go through what it can or can't be. It's not a melee free strike. You can choose one of the effects. You can use the knockback maneuver, but you make the reason test instead of might test. You can choose the creature to roll and hurl. You choose a creature within the distance of your hurl element ability and deal damage to the creature equal to your reason score, the type of acid. You teleport a number of squares equal to your reason score. That's definitely what I want. Practical magic is a maneuver. Where do I put maneuvers? It's that's under type. Is that a signature ability? Because I feel like my signature ability is hurl element. We're going to put hurl element under signature ability, and then we're just going to do whatever we can to take the ability to, like, poof places. I like that. But I don't get the practical magic thing. I don't know where that goes. So I'm just going to go ahead, and what I'll do is I'll put that underneath of the class elementalist, and I'll just kind of make it myself, which is... Yeah, I'll just kind of make my own section for this because it doesn't make much sense to me. Oh, I choose one of the effects for this. But I can use this at different times. Okay. Well, that's a lot to write down. So I think what I would do for this is print out something like a little... And what I'm thinking this game is to me is actually that I would have, for my players, I would create something like this section of the sheet with this info and the this info. I'd find a way to condense kind of this part all in there, and I would remove all of these bits, the costs and everything. And I think I would honestly make life easier. I would just find some sort of Canva, set it up, and I would print them like almost like Pokemon cards. And it would be like, okay, I'm going to use this action, or I can use this action. If you played Gloomhaven, it feels a lot like that game. I feel like you're almost, except with Gloomhaven, you're picking top or bottom of your card. You have, or you have the like default action. You're rolling for some more chance in there, but in reality, you're playing a card on your turn, and you might have you've activated my triggered card. It feels almost more like a card game than the normal D&D type system I like. So I'm going to forego writing these things down. I'm going to print out my own things where I might either screenshot this or just copy and paste if I can. Yeah, the letters over to something else where I've maybe synopsized them to make them easier. But it is interesting to see. At first level specialization feature, your elemental specialization gets you a specialization feature shown on the first level elemental specialization feature tab. Void, you gain Void Embrace, specialization triggered action, Void Embrace. You call on the wind to swallow and spit out an ally. Oh, damn, so I can just teleport a guy? If I spend one essence, you can teleport them in squares equal to twice my reason? Reasonably, that's cool. That is really cool. I really like this. Okay, Elementalist, Void. I'm starting to like this vibe of they're kind of like space manifestation or like, temporal folding. Temporals? Whatever. The idea is cool. I like it. Your mastering elements match against unique magical capabilities. Debuff, empower your allies to go. Choose one signature ability from the options below. The signature ability can use will. Okay, well, I put Hurl Element in the wrong spot. I don't know where Hurl Element was supposed to go, if not there. Maybe there was a page I didn't print out to go with these, but all part of the learning curve. Choose one heroic ability from the following, each of which costs 3 options. Choose one. So I get 1 3 cost and 1 5 cost. Okay. All right. Well, that's that part. That is the class part done. Now realize this is going to be a little bit less done because I'm going to be going through and adding it in later. But there you have the different things. The signature ability is wrong. That's going to be Sight of the Void. So I need to change that out. But that part makes sense to me now. At least if I was doing this with someone else, it would be easier. I definitely recommend typing on this one because of how the abilities work. But in reality, you're not getting too many for a first one. I think this process, if it was tighter, right now I'm about almost an hour in. I'm 9 minutes away from an hour. I think it would have gone faster had I already done this before and, didn't have my heart set on like Psionic and looking for that. I know all the languages by heart and be like, hey, you can just pick Elvish, Gnomish, blah, blah, blah. It would be quicker. We're now on past class. We are on to making a hero. We've done class. We now need a kit. Choose your hero's kit. Your kit provides your equipment and fighting style and grants you more signature abilities. We got Nature's Calling, Missile. I mean, I'm honest to God. I just saw Missile and I already know I like that. All right. Yep, I'm doing Missile. It's like this kind of like orb-based class. I think it's kind of cool. It reminds me of the orb from Brawlhalla. Kit bonus, stamina bonus. I get +3, so I'm at 8 now, or 18. Magic distance bonus, +7. Magic distance bonus. Yeah, it's an orb, hooked rod, spike ability kit. Okay, cool. So that's all that relates to that. I just gained the spike ability. All right, so at this point, I've now marked out like what would be marked. So you can see like just the lines where what would be done if I had written it down. Now we'll go back up to add free strikes. Every hero has the ability to make free strikes under certain circumstances. A melee weapon should be made with that. And so, okay, cool. So, yeah, okay, because they already filled in creature and object to let you know range. Like they filled in the keywords for you, but not all of them were filled in. Because I feel like if the damage is set, then it feels like that should be written in. But maybe, yeah, I don't know. I thought they would have just put down 2, 6, and 9, let you know that's just what it is. And then if you had any pluses you wanted to add, you could do that after. But I don't know. Maybe they have a reason. Number 8 is complication. Your heroes experience a complication will let them at the goal. This is kind of like a knife, I think, where they just give you something wrong with you so you can find something to do or something that happened to you, kind of like a setback. It feels like when you take like Fallout and it's like, okay, I picked to be one-armed, but now I get, extra points to put into other things, or because I'm one-armed, I'm better at one-handed tasks. So modifying the story, we could do Devil Deal when you're a thing. There's devil occasionally asks you to defeat enemies on their behalf. If you refuse to defeat features, sends devils after you and those you care about. Well, that seems very like on the thing. Fire and Chaos. I should have picked the island one and lost the language, so I didn't have to fill that one in later. 10, make connections. While fighting a monster, another here's their life. Oh no, 9, determine details. Once you play that, Determine additional details, backstory, appearance, personality, how to advance their career. So is that where I do size? I don't know. Weight, we'll just call 125. Ancestry, yep, here we go. Otherwise noted, ancestry size of 1. So that would be size of 1, weight of 4, and reach of 1, speed of 5. Reach of 1, speed of 5. Stability. Now, I don't know what that is. Stability. Each creature has stability, allowing them to resist force movement. Most heroes start with stability of 0. Cool. All right. Okay, that took me an hour. That's a little longer than I'm able to spend, considering that I'm at work and this was part of a DIY. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I might do one where I look at a finished character sheet to see kind of what I missed, but I now have made a full setup. Doesn't mean I fully understand everything on the page. This is all effort in order to figure out, how I feel about it, if I understand it, if it's possible for me to make a character or not. When I read these things, it can be difficult for me to absorb the rules. I'm really a time over intensity kind of person. I just need to do this multiple times to figure it out. But after an hour of working on this, let me just talk about some basic things that I experienced in figuring it out. I'm still a little unsure of where to put certain abilities. Like if Hurl Element isn't my signature ability, do I just throw it on the back for here? Was there, and did I miss, a page of just extra ability sections for you to make your own abilities? Or not make your own, but to place extra abilities. Kind of think like in D&D, there's not a spot to write down what your spells do. You just write down all your spells you have. So is there a sheet like that I missed where I could have been writing down Hurl Earth and all these different things? When it comes to these magic damage plus sorts of things, I imagine this is as simple as for if you take a melee weapon plus, then it's like if you deal 6 damage, you're going to add 4 to all melee swings in the first tier. I imagine that's how that works, but I didn't get to figure that out through making this character because I went for a caster. The distance plus 7, my assumption is that's going to mean I add 7 to my distance, and that's the bonus of playing this sort of missile character, is I'm trying to be a glass cannon, stay at a distance, and launch my spells. The complications didn't seem too of interest to me at the moment, but I'm excited because that's actually one of the features I think is the coolest, is the idea that you have kind of a flaw that gives you a benefit. I think those are always really cool. I think that I think it was GURPS that had the generic role-playing system that had like the one-armed as a thing, and it was like, yeah, by being one-armed, you gain a ton of points to put into something else. I always thought that was really cool because I like characters like Shanks from One Piece. It's very interesting. I'm not sure I understand what Renown does yet, career title, player, all that stuff. I really think I need to get in there and just play the game because the sheet now makes more sense. I can't say it was simple for me to fill out. I really take most an issue with difficulty of writing down new abilities, but I think it's a one-time setup and you'll be done. So I can gripe at that now because I have bad handwriting and I'm really slow at it. But maybe get out a computer, be able to type it in. I might see if I can just make some sort of, if there's any sort of flowchart type software out there that you can type in things, I might just try to make my own one for home, like a basic little flowchart one that lets you click a drop down box and autofill some tabs for you. That'd be really helpful to me because the character system seems in depth and fun. Like it could be an enjoyable time to go through and do it. I think bouncing around on a PDF hurts my eyes. Getting into a book makes me feel nostalgic. So I think that would take a lot of the time out of it if I had a book in front of me. It's hard for me to navigate these PDFs. But that's not an option right now. Overall, I'd say it was a fun experience. I don't know that I'd want to do 5 in one night to set up my whole party. I'd prefer they learn it, but I think if they had this same experience an hour in, I don't think they'd make it through it. So I'm going to do more of these over the course of the next week so I can get more comfortable with it. But overall, I'm excited to play this. I'm going to be playing it tonight using the premates online, and it should be a fun time. I do probably highlights, I would say I like the actual use of the culture section to pick your different upbringing. I think it really brought the character into view. Very cool. Really like that. I really enjoy that the recoveries are so high. I haven't played the game yet, but I do love the idea they're going to be able to keep going for longer. That's really cool to me. And I think this tiered system I'm really excited for this. I think when I get these printed out onto cards, like ability cards, like they have for spell cards, I think that'll make this game cooler to me. I think this is going to be a different way to play it, but it's going to be like, hey, you've unlocked a magic item. Here comes the card with it. And I love that like kind of collectible card game mentality. Bringing it into this game might be the way that I try to run this at home, is almost as if it's a Magic the Gathering style game. This is an epic ability. This is this ability. And I, can just create my own costs with whatever ability I want in order to create this sort of vibe. But very excited. MCDM, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you all for making a new game for me to try out. If anyone has any questions, leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Clearly, you watched me struggle for an hour. I may know something you don't now, but probably not the case. If you have any advice for me, please leave it down below, and I appreciate you. Take care, and I'll see you later.